Welcome to the Coherent Leadership podcast. I'm your host, Jemima House. This is episode 3 in the Founders series, and our title today is Why Scaling Breaks Purpose-Driven Business and How to Fix It. If you are running a purpose-driven service business and you've crossed that £1 million milestone, you've proven that doing good can actually work as a business model. And you've proven that you can exist within capitalism. So the commercial engine of what you're doing and your values can coexist. But as you start looking at scaling even further toward 2, 3 or 5 million, the rules of the game slightly change. So the strategies that got you to 1 million are not the ones that will get you to 5. And the biggest threat to your business isn't from the outside now, it's happening within the structure of your business. When ethical service companies scale, they start to look for ways to handle the operational complexity, and that often involves importing standard corporate management structures, HR processes, efficiency metrics. It's just what people do. Almost always, that means adopting a traditional pyramid leadership framework. It kind of happens without anybody noticing. It's, like I said, it's just what people do. But it's a structural flaw. And why? Because the pyramid, it's designed to squeeze value from the bottom up. It's built to treat people as cogs in a machine, optimized for efficiency and for profit. Caring for your people, whether that's the people who work with you, for you, or your clients, deeply caring for them is actually impossible inside a pyramid structure. I'm going to show you why, of course. When you're running an ethical, mission-driven team and you're trying to make that exist within a pyramid, the structure starts to break down the human element that made your company successful in the first place. So today I want to break down why the pyramid is failing your £1 million business across 3 massive risk areas. And they are employee churn, purpose-driven burnout, and brand protection. More importantly, we're going to look at what the architectural solution is, a complete structural shift from the hierarchical pyramid, dare I say it, patriarchal, to a circular leadership framework which rests more on feminine leadership principles. So let's have a look at that. Number 1, the invisible maths of employee churn and why the pyramid makes it worse. When an ethical, high-growth service company loses a skilled team member, it can completely derail an entire quarter. At the £1 million mark, your service is your people. I'm going to go even further and say, within an ethical company, your service is always your people. Of course. So your clients or your service users are there for the expertise, the empathy, and the values of your team. So when somebody senior or maybe a key project manager walks out, they take with them deep client relationships and insider knowledge. And in a pyramid framework, people are viewed as replaceable blocks. So if a block at the bottom drops out, the system assumes that you can just slide a new one in. But that's an illusion. We know by now that the pyramid is a relic of the military-industrial complex, and it's not purpose-built for today's world. When someone leaves, the reality is it takes 3 to 6 months for a new hire, and this is being generous, to truly understand your unique ethical framework and to integrate into the team dynamic, to build trust with your clients. Like, that's someone who is amazing and flexible and has a whole load of skills. I'm going to say it could take up to 12 months. Meanwhile, the remaining team members have got to cover the gap. And in a firm making over $1 million, losing even 3 key people in a single year easily costs you 75 to 100 grand in lost productivity and management friction. That's 1/10 of your turnover. That's a lot. A pyramid can't solve this because it's built to manage turnover, not to prevent people leaving and these kinds of scenarios. It detaches leadership from the reality of the frontline. To stop pouring talent into a leaky cultural bucket, we've got to change the shape of the business. So retention at this stage is no longer an HR metric. It's actually a structural design choice. Part 2, the purpose-driven burnout threat. This is one of the big ones. This vulnerability is particularly relevant to ethical businesses because the people who work in them are there because they really care very deeply about what they do. And you, as the leader of that company, intentionally built that team of people who believe in the mission. Their personal values are deeply aligned with their professional work. And that makes it really hard to switch off from work. That makes overextending themselves, taking on emotional weight of work problems, the norm. Now look at what happens when you combine that deep passion and caring with a pyramid structure. In a pyramid, pressure always flows downwards. So as the business grows, the revenue targets and the operational demands from the top press down onto the people at the bottom or even in the middle. And because your team is purpose-driven, they will run themselves straight into the ground, trying to absorb that pressure to save the mission, because there's nowhere else for it to go. When a purpose-driven employee burns out inside a pyramid, they don't just get tired, they can also get cynical. And as a leader of a 7-figure business, your primary job is no longer the doing inside the business. Your job is protecting your main asset, which is your people. If your business architecture forces pressure down, supporting your team is always going to feel like a losing battle. And any expansion that you're building is going to be built on a flimsy foundation if the genuine care that is required can't exist in the system that you've got going on, because the top is so disconnected from the emotional toll at the bottom. It's a hard thing to take in. It's like nobody wants to think that this is happening within their business. Yes, big sigh. Part 3, culture is your ultimate brand protection. This is also a risk. Operational hypocrisy of the pyramid becoming a liability. So for just a normal standard corporate business, an unhappy ex-employee complaining on socials is a minor PR annoyance. For an ethical firm, this is a systemic threat to your entire market position, because your brand relies on trust. Unhappy employees in the ethical space do talk. They're people. People talk. They share their experiences and they talk to their peers, and they'll tell you exactly why they feel disgruntled in their resignation letter. I mean, they might do, they might not. But it's something to watch for, because if an ethical service firm is not taking care of its people, it's hypocritical. And not only does that kill the brand, but it's not what you want to be leaning towards as an ethical firm. Like, that's just a given, surely. And you can't counteract this with more marketing or more green credentials. You just can't. So structural care for your people is a form of insurance, as well as what you want to be doing. It's a shield that protects you, protects your reputation, protects your revenue, and helps you progress within this end stage capitalism that we are all existing within. So the solution is shifting to a circular framework. How do we handle the complexity of building a larger business while protecting and caring for the people within it? It's an architectural shift. So dismantling the pyramid and moving to a circular leadership framework is this work. And yeah, it's piece by piece, and you can't look at it for too long, because you're just like, this is going to be too hard. But it's one by one. It's one business by one business until everybody is on the same page. In a circle, the pressure doesn't crush the people at the bottom. Instead, the entire structure expands and contracts together, and it eliminates that us versus them dynamic that destroys scaling cultures. It also is proof to your team that the ethical mission is reflected in how you actually organise your company. And that's a felt sense. That's not in the contract, it's not values on the wall, that is a felt sense. And that is going to help you keep your best people. So if you are a founder or a CEO sitting at that 7-figure mark today, looking at your growth targets, I want to challenge you to look at your org chart this week and ask yourself 2 questions. Firstly, is your current management structure built to squeeze value out of your people, or is it designed to pour resources into them? Second, if your company structure remains exactly as it is today, will it protect your culture as you double in size, or will it break the spirit of the people who built it? So yes, scaling ethical business is hard work, but you don't have to sacrifice your soul, your people, or your values to do it. You just need to change the shape of your system. If you want to transition your growing firm away from the friction of the traditional pyramid and implement a highly profitable and sustainable circular leadership framework, we should have a conversation. Head over to the show notes and get in touch. Until tomorrow, keep building with purpose.